Okay. So, hello, all you wonderful people, and welcome to this very spur of the moment training how to use your lazy life to create content that gets you clients every week. Isn't that the best title ever? Yes, yes. And so, what I want to do, like, really, my intention behind this is I have been working behind the scenes on my social media, on my content, and testing some stuff out in terms of what actually converts. Because we all know I am not telling you anything new that you all have to be present and visible on social media. You all know that. You've been in business. That's not new. But what I am way more interested in is the conversation around how do we get people's attention? How do we increase our engagement? So I'm revealing information to you that I've not taught to anybody else before. So are you ready? Yes. All right. Awesome. All right. So I'm going to give a quick state of the union, right? Just in terms of what's working well for content, what's converting, what's actually necessary for content right now, and what we want to do less of, right? So this is why, like, have a piece of paper handy, because I'm going to tell you like what is working and what's not. So what's not working? The first thing is the grand philosophical gestures, the grand philosophical like breakthroughs, right? These big, big revelations, right? Like I went to the top of the mountain and the skies parted and this realization happened. And I have to tell all of you, but like we all know those posts, right? Right. That require like lots of deep thinking, as Susan says in the chat. Similarly, it's those like I went through this big experience, like a traumatic experience, like car crash or something happened. And here's the lesson I learned, right? Not to say that those stories aren't worth telling, but the big revelations, the big philosophical breakthroughs are kind of tired. The second thing that's not working so much anymore is the like, I'm going to post pictures of me being on vacation all the time. I'm going to post pictures of me, buying really expensive things or partying all the time or wearing these really cool clothes. Are you all like in agreement with me? Like all that stuff is a little bit tired, right? We're tired of it. It's overdone. It's boring at this point. No one, the whole phase of people talking about all the vacations they've taken, like we're over it. Maybe COVID did that to us. Maybe we're just tired of the materialism in some ways, but that stuff isn't working either. Hi, Paula. Good to see you. I'm just going over content that is not working right now. And I know people are just kind of coming in from the waiting room. The third thing is the third thing that is not working content wise is relying way too heavily on talking about your process. Here's my blueprint. Here are tips. Here's how you grow your business. Here are 2 steps to meditating. Do you know what I mean? It's the process, it's our blueprint, it's our signature steps that we talk about in content. We're drowning in information. Right. Now, that's not to say that you don't deliver good content and you don't deliver valuable tips. But an over reliance on how to's and signatures, processes, and steps, no one cares anymore. Here's what is working, right? What is working is boring and relatable. What is working is everyday stuff that we are encountering, everyday stuff that we are doing, right? So everyone's so focused on creating content that's super tactical and super like, here's how you grow your business, and here's how you meditate, and here's this amazing vacation that I took, and look at me doing all these amazing things. What is working is the boring, the mundane, the relatable. Because what people find interesting is what they're interested in. People are interested in the shows that they're watching. People are interested in like the Nutter Butter that they bought from Trader Joe's last week that they didn't get enough of. People are interested in I'm trying to think what sports are on right now because I'm not athletic at all. Not football, but like baseball or so. I know, Christine, don't. Yeah.
March Madness basketball.
Oh, yeah, yeah. They were
Final Four.
obsessed with basketball. Yeah, that's why, like, don't ask me about anything athletic, but that's what people care about. Sports, the TV show they're watching, right? They care about the food that they bought. They care about, the new shoes they bought the other day, like at a bargain price, right? Paula cares about F1, right? Depending on where you are in the world, right? That certainly matters as well.
What is F1? Real quick.
Formula One racing.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Just wanted to know.
There you go. So that's what people are interested in, right? Before, like a few weeks ago, like think even about celebrity gossip, right? People were like fascinated with the Kim and Kanye breakup. They're like, oh my God, these two are fighting in a very public way. Like I'm kind of interested in that, right? So that's what is working really well right now is the boring and the mundane. And I want to ask you all, this is where I want you to interact with me a little bit here in the chat. Or you can unmute yourself because we're an intimate group. Why are people so afraid to share the boring and the mundane everyday things that happen?
Because it's boring and mundane. Like,
okay, because it's boring and mundane.
I guess it's kind of one of those. It's kind of like the post you did this morning, the bro style marketing. Like, my life is great all the time, every day. Because I mean, it's kind of like I'm creating content too, and it's one of those where I'm like, okay, great, this is boring. No one's gonna want to know this. Like, this is, everybody knows this type of stuff, that kind of thing. So that's what I think. A lot of people don't do it because I'm afraid to do it. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, why are you afraid to do it?
I think it's just because it's not exciting enough. So I'm like, hey, this is my life. This is what I do. I'm going to show you around my studio type of thing. And people,
So we think, right, my life is not exciting enough. So people are not going to be interested in me or take me seriously or want to work with me, right? Because I don't have the flashiness, right? Andrea, you hit it exactly. Posting this kind of stuff makes you a little bit vulnerable, right? Because you have to talk a little bit about yourself. You have to talk a little bit about, the things that you're watching and the things that interest you. And maybe people may say like, what, who cares about that? Who's interested in that, right? So we have to open ourselves up because Cheryl, what if no one responds, right? Eloise, I've got nothing to say about myself, right? Like, there is actually nothing interesting about me at all, right? So I want us to redefine what the word interesting means. Because I think in our minds, we're thinking interesting is flashy, interesting is deep and philosophical, interesting is, Paula, my timeline's full of dogs, right? Yep. Anka says, sometimes I think that this is not professional. Oh, yeah. If I say this or I talk about this, people may not perceive me as professional and therefore maybe won't take me as seriously or think about me or consider me as someone who they can invest in, right? I mean, we could go deep. Like, that could be a whole other training in and of itself, Josh, where we can unpack like why you're so afraid to post those things, but we're not going to go there. I just want us to acknowledge that, there's absolutely, I mean, I've gone through that as I've been posting things. I'm like, people are going to think I'm just bizarre when I talk about this stuff. But the problem is when we rely too heavily on the stuff that I was telling you about before, the tactical, the strategic, the like bigger than life, unrelatable posts. One, we're dismissing people. Okay, we love bizarre people. Yep. One, we create very little opportunity for people to connect with us if all we're doing is posting about ourselves in like Mexico or some beautiful tropical place, right? Because Josh, you and I, it's like, well, we're in our office. I'm not in a tropical, location right now, right? The second is if you rely too heavily on your process, like Cheryl, here's how to close more sales, or Eloise, here's how to publish your book. It's like, well, you're putting people in a logical place, which doesn't allow them to connect emotionally with you. And Cheryl will agree with me because Cheryl's a sales coach. If you want people to engage with you, if you want people to invest with you, if you want people to say yes to you, you have to get them to connect emotionally.
You must make them feel.
Yes. If you're posting your process, you do not get them to feel, right? Now, the one thing I will say is when I brought this up individually with some of my clients, the fear is, well, okay, so you're asking me to talk about like all the details of my personal life. Well, I don't necessarily want to open up, right? Like, I'm more introverted. I don't want to expose myself to, the entirety of social media. But here's what you have to think about, right? If you talk about, something as simple as the thing you bought at the grocery store, are you revealing the intricacies of your personal life? No, I don't ever talk about my personal romantic relationships. I don't talk about any of that, right? In fact, one of my highest converting posts, and by highest converting, I mean not only the likes and comments, but the DM, the emails after that were like, I got to get on a call with you, was about a time where I ate way too many chips and salsa at a restaurant. Do you want to know why? Like, why do you think that was so high converting?
Because
Cheryl, that's
so
not what
relatable.
I meant by relationships. That's what I meant was like friendships and a romantic relationship.
I know what you meant. I was just being funny. But it's relatable. How many of you have sat and had a conversation and kept eating the chips, and then you're like, by the time your meal comes, you're like, oh, I'm not hungry anymore because you just sat there and ate all the chips. Yes, totally. It's so relatable, Jessica.
Yes. So what I'm encouraging you all to think about now is sharing those details from your everyday life that you would otherwise dismiss as silly, stupid, boring, or otherwise uninteresting. And I'm going to show you how to turn that into content that will actually get someone to stop scrolling, not only comment or like, but then follow up with you. right? So grab a piece of paper, have a Google Doc or Word doc handy, because we're actually going to do some stuff together. And you're going to walk away with some content created from this call. Are you excited? Awesome. 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 Okay. So let's talk about your lazy life. And by lazy, I mean not like you're not a motivated person or that you don't care, that you don't take care of yourself. That's not what I mean. By lazy, I'm saying what we perceive as lazy. Like, oh, I just liked the peanut butter I bought at Trader Joe's, or I really like binging that TV show. Like that in your mind might be considered lazy. Yes, Monica, I'm so demanding. I'm actually going to have you write something with me on this call. All right. So I want you to think about right now, right? And I'm looking at my notes because this is the question I want you to answer. What are you super into right now that's kind of boring and mundane? In fact, you get a prize for the most boring, the better, right? So we're going to have a competition of who has the most boring thing that they're into right now. This could be a TV show that you're watching. It could be the thing that you bought at the grocery store the other day that just got you super jazzed and excited. It could be something that I don't know. I'm trying to think, like Susan's on this call, like for 6 months, she was so excited about this little tool that you use to put into a cherry and like unpit the cherry. Like she told me about it 3 times. She's like, have you seen this thing? Have you seen how it takes the pit out of the cherry so that I can eat it? And I don't have to dig my finger into it. Like that kind of boring stuff that gets you excited, right? So I want you to list like 3 or 4 things, right? And we're going for like the everyday kind of stuff. Do not judge yourself. Do not self-edit. Monica, I love it. You could type these in the chat if you want, or you can just write them on a piece of notebook paper or Google Doc. Andrea says, tug of words, game show. Candace, the question is, Susan put it in the chat, 1 second. What are you super into that is totally boring and mundane right now? It could be a TV show. It could be, I love that, German love stories. All right. So Eloise says cleaning. Yep. Cleaning. Who would think that cleaning would be interesting, right? Cleaning, gardening, bluegrass. Andrea says tug of words, game show network. Leah says my Olukai convertible sneakers. Candace organizing. I'm really into supplements right now. I mean, you can't even get more boring than that. Like I get excited to order supplements, right? Yeah. Cheryl eating too much. Cheryl, I love you. Oh my gosh, eating too much whipped cream out of the can. I love it. I love an honest moment. You and I are like also Diet Coke fans, right? Yep. Iced Coke every day, iced Diet Coke every day. Cheryl Anka says, we have to talk. I'm in. All right, Elizabeth, ways to cook eggs. I love it, Elizabeth. How mundane, right? Googling, how do I cook eggs? Monica, organizing the top of my desk. Wait, where is my desk? Leah, purging my kitchen cabinets. Okay. Cheryl, daily Diet Coke. Yeah, nothing better than that with some ice. Elizabeth, don't judge us. All right. So you can see, right? Spring cleaning, simplifying. Yep. We are probably the most boring bunch around, huh? Just looking at these answers, but not really, because how many people can we relate to? I mean, Cheryl, you had Anka nearly in tears, and Christine was laughing out loud when you said, I ate way too much whipped cream out of the stupid whipped cream can, right? Josh, video games, avoidance. Yeah. How many of us have eaten way too much sugar? I am a chocoholic, right? If unchecked, I would eat like chocolate all day, every day, right? Leah, how many other people love this, the feeling you and Christine have so much in common, purging your kitchen cabinets, right? Cleaning, simplifying, right? Now, if I had said to you, if I hadn't had you in this context or container of, let's look at these interesting things, would you have given these topics a second thought? Tell me why not. I see no, nope. Cheryl, embarrassing. Okay. Eloise, because they're everyday boring. Oh, Anka, what will people think? Yeah. Because again, I feel like in our online space, there's this expectation or perception that in order to be a really powerful business owner or interesting enough or businessy enough, right, we have to show these big flashy things, or we have to just talk about our process, or yeah. So I'm encouraging you to keep that list, because those are going to be content ideas where you can post. You could post on Facebook. You could post this, like Candace. How many of you are more LinkedIn focused than anything else? I know some of you spend a lot of time on LinkedIn. Like I will tell you, some of the people I love following on LinkedIn talk about these personal things, use personal stories. Now it's not, I want to be careful here, right? Like it's not necessarily all about being completely vulnerable and talking about this really emotional time in your life. But Cheryl, you could absolutely, I'm going to show you how to make the bridge from this topic to your business, right? I can show you how to make that link But you would get, I'm sure, so much engagement because how many of us have gone to the refrigerator and taken the can of whipped cream and had just a little bit too much, right? Everyone's laughing because it's true, right? And that is what I want to impart to all of you today is the lazier your ideas, the more boring they are, the more you're going to convert because you are getting people to emotionally connect with you. You're making people laugh, right? Cheryl, I'm just picking yours because I've done that so many times with whipped cream. Like I've gone to the fridge, it's like, oh, the Cool Whip canister is like practically gone because I ate way too much. People are hooked when they see that story, they will pay attention. I'll show you how, right? I'll show you how to do this for LinkedIn. All right. So, you know, the thing that you're super like, that's super boring and mundane. My next question is, why are you so into that right now? Why did you enjoy that so much? So take one thing from your list. If you had a few, like Eloise, you had like cleaning, bluegrass, and what else did you have?
Gardening.
Gardening. Okay, so pick one of those and tell me, why are you so into it right now? Don't overthink this. Don't self-edit. Just tell me, like, what do you love about it? Elizabeth, why do you love watering your plants?
I love it because it's like a zen moment.
Okay, it's a zen moment. Good. Yeah. So dig in a little bit, even if it's as ridiculous as like Cheryl, yours takes the kids, right? Like I just have whipped cream. Okay, cool. Oh, 1 second, I think. So Cheryl, in your case, like, why did you love the whipped cream? What was so enjoyable about that? Right? Maybe embarrassing, but absolutely is relatable.
Yeah.
So
we've been eating sugar-free, and my partner brought home the real whipped cream in the can, and I was like, so I eat my sugar-free pudding, and then I put a bunch of that on top, and then of course I eat the pudding, and then I'm like, oh well, I need some more of that, and then I got to the point where I was just like, oh, just forget that, just don't even do it in a spoon, right? I could be faster if I just skipped this, put the pudding in the cup.
Okay. All right. You have Eloise and Josh basically and Christine almost like on the floor laughing, right? Okay. So we now know we have that thing that's boring. We know why we're super interested in it. Now we're going to make that bridge into, okay, so how do I take this absurd thing from my life that I'm embarrassed about? I probably don't want to talk about, like, who's going to think this is interesting? Now we're going to build the bridge to your business. So I want you to now think about your ideal client. It's that same piece of paper, right? What are the biggest fears that they have around your topic right now? And I know you've all been in business, so I know you know this question, right? What are their biggest fears? Like the deep, deep, dark secrets that they hold to themselves, right? What are the biggest fears? Because remember, we want to make this emotional. So if we go into a place of knowing what our ideal client's biggest fears are, Elizabeth, which topic? The boring topic. Elizabeth, wait, I just want to make sure I understand your question.
You mean their fears around the boring topic or?
The business topic, Elizabeth.
Okay.
Thank you
That's
for
what
clarifying.
I thought. Like, yep. Fears about watering plants. I don't know.
No one's afraid of watering plants. All right. So Andrea says they fear failure. They feel like they're not enough. Yep. They feel failure, other people's opinions. They won't be able to do it. Right. It will be too hard. For example, like I know with a lot of my clients, their deepest fears as it relates to putting themselves out there is I'm not interesting enough. People won't want to invest in me. People won't notice me. Cheryl, not making enough money, having to get a job, failing being in the business, right? Candace says they don't know the next step and people won't think I'm expert enough to hire, right? That is a good one. Yes. So this is where we get into like the under. Now, this is not pushing all of you into life coaching or being emotionally there for your clients, but any of you know, if you've been through any business training, if you connect to where people are and what their current pains and frustrations are emotionally, that's when you get the, oh my gosh, it's like you're talking to me. Oh my gosh, were you in my brain? How did you know that I was going through that? Monica, not worth being paid what I can offer. Yep. So now I want to bring a few of you up, right? So you have these notes. I want to spotlight a few of you and I want to show you how to build this bridge between this random topic and what your ideal clients are going through. Because if I can take a chips and salsa example and connect that to my business and have it be one of the most highest converting posts and Facebook Lives I've ever done, we can absolutely take your random topic and do the same. So do any of you want to raise your hand and have me take you through this? All right. So Cheryl, all right. So we'll start with Cheryl, then we'll go to Josh, then Eloise, and then we're going to move through. All right, Cheryl, go ahead.
Yeah. So how are we going to tie the whipped cream can to not making enough money, having to get a job, failing being in the business?
Okay.
Is that what we're trying to do?
We are. Yeah.
Okay.
So let's dig into that. So you said, hold on, they're not making enough money. They're afraid of what again?
Afraid of having to get a job.
Afraid of having to get a job. Okay.
And failing, just being a failure.
Okay. Being a failure. Can we dig into that one? Because that's really emotional, Cheryl,
Okay.
the failure one. Okay. So what's going on in their minds around being seen as a failure?
They would be embarrassed. They would be ashamed. They would
embarrassed and ashamed of what?
Of failing, of not working hard enough to make the dream come true.
Okay. I have an idea for you. Play with me on this one. Okay.
Okay.
So I think there's a way you can take this, Cheryl, where I think the perception of success in business means that you are spot on and you're perfect all the time. You never deviate. You never make mistakes. Do you see what I'm saying?
Totally.
Right. And how we all put ourselves through the ringer of like, oh my gosh, I didn't do enough this week, or I didn't push myself harder. I didn't work enough hours. We're all entrepreneurs. Don't you feel that? But that's sort of the expectation, is that we're perfect all the time and we never make a mistake and we hit our goals. There's very much that culture in our online world. Yep. So what I would say, Cheryl, is you tell the story about the pudding and the whipped cream, right? Okay. You were sugar-free, right? You were working on being sugar-free. Right. And you're having the sugar-free pudding, and then you had just a little bit of whipped cream. You're like, ooh, I want a little bit more of that. Right. I want a little bit more of that. And then you could have beat yourself up and said, well, why commit to being sugar-free anymore? Right. I fell off the wagon. Right. I might as well just go back to eating completely like all sugar. It's the same as business owners saying, oh, well, I didn't make any sales this week. So you know what? Like, I'll sit behind my computer and watch Netflix or something.
Oh, that's so good.
Do you see how I did that? Right. We take what our ideal clients are going through and thinking about and beating themselves up about, and we relate it to the things that we're going through in our everyday life. Monica says this: a treat without guilt is not the end of the world. Right. Or maybe even, Cheryl, right? The fact that business owners, I think, have this perception that they have to work 24/7. And if they take a day off, they feel guilty. They feel like they are not serious. They feel like people are not going to, take them seriously if they take time off, or things are going to fall apart. See how I'm building that bridge?
Yes.
There you go.
All I'm thinking of is that you're like so genius with this right now. That's what I'm thinking. Anybody else thinking about that? Going, wow.
Yeah. Jessica is genius at coming up with things.
It's practice.
And this is from one of our little nieces. She goes, how you do that? How you do that?
Right. How I do that. Yeah. How I do that is I've turned my brain on to thinking, right? I've turned my brain into thinking, how can the things in my everyday life connect to what my ideal clients are going through? I think of everything as content.
Wow, that's so great. I need to start thinking like that. And so you're helping me. What you just said really helps when you said, I'm starting to think about my everyday life and how I can turn that into content, and how my clients are going, or my potential clients are going through the same thing, just in a different sense and relating it to business. Did I get it?
You've got the thesis, the core thesis of this training. Gold star, Cheryl. Okay. Yay. Okay. So I'm going to move on. I want to work with a few of you on this one. Okay. Josh, I think you had your hand up. So Josh, Eloise, and then Anka, I'll move there, and we'll just keep moving. All right, Josh, you're up.
All right. My biggest thing I've been going through right now is avoidance, because it's easy.
Oh, okay.
Equals more hammock time. Yeah. It's one of those where I don't know. What else do you need to know?
Well, what's the boring thing, right? That's the concept, which is avoidance, right?
Yeah.
So what's the everyday thing that you are really into right now?
One was,
you don't necessarily just sit in a blank room and just stare at the wall all day. Like, there are things that you do.
Yeah. So I do everything else but what I need to do. So let's see, researching, I guess that's a big one. Always want to learn more and more and more, not actually do it, just keep learning about it.
So we'll get to that. That's, I think, the connector. But what's an everyday example of you avoiding? Is it related to chores? Is it related to hanging up the thing that your wife told you to hang up like 3 weeks ago? Do you see what I mean? Like, what is it that you're avoiding in your everyday life?
Man, I didn't know it's gonna be too lately it's been scheduling, like a schedule.
Okay.
Like, my wife is very like structured, like 9 o'clock we do this, 10 o'clock we do this. And I'm like, no. Like loosey goosey type of person.
Okay. So there's the like the loose schedule. You said you play video games.
Yes.
Okay, so I wonder if there's something in there that we could use. Like you're super creative, like video games are a creative outlet, right? So you do the thing that feels good and enjoyable.
Yeah, it's one of those, someone before did kind of like that. Like you play video games because it's spur of the moment. You have to make all your decisions like in the moment. So there's no like pre-planning, there's no schedule, that kind of a thing.
There is that, right? You could build that bridge, certainly. I think of it also as like you play video games because it's fun, it feels good. It's something you'd rather do instead of anything else. And before you know it, you've spent like 3 hours playing video games, right? Yep. And then the problem is you didn't get what you needed to get done. You're like, well, you know what? I've already started playing and so much time has passed. Like, I'll just put the other thing off until tomorrow, right? Like, it's 5 o'clock. Like, why do it now, right? I mean, it's late in the evening. No one's going to know any different. It's the same thing that business owners do when they want to sit behind their computer and research all day. It's the same thing that they do when they want to, I don't know. I'm thinking for you, Josh, your clients need to get on camera. It's the, well, let me sit behind my computer and study my talk before I get on camera. Oh, you know what? Let me play with my background and go on Amazon and figure out which bookshelf looks better behind me. And if I need a week to figure that out, like I'll just do that. Right. And then I'll worry about getting on camera later.
Yeah. It's mostly, a lot of that is the tech behind it. So they'll spend months. I'm talking to a whole bunch of people that are like, dude, I thought I could do the DIY route. Yeah. And 6 months later, still not on camera.
Yeah.
Because my lighting sucks.
Yeah. Because it felt so enjoyable and so much better to do all the investigating and research because it's safe. Yep. That's the emotional part you get to, Josh, because it is safe. Studying and researching is a safe place. Instead of calling an expert, getting the right equipment, and then getting yourself on camera in the next day. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you took, that was easy for you, for sure.
But what I'm teaching you all is, look, I used to be an English teacher. So my job was to figure out how to make my 14-year-old students who cared more about at the time, like, their smartphones. And I had to teach them like 18th century literature. And I was like, how the heck am I going to make, like, my job was to make boring stuff interesting. Right. So that's why I've done this for a long time. But the thread is my clients are avoiding the thing because they want to do something that's way more safe and comfortable instead. So where do I see myself, or where do I see everyday examples of avoidance? And let me weave that story in.
Got it.
Give me something, Josh. You just look like I slapped you across the face.
Yeah, literally. Or literally anyway. So you would just take, I guess I'll have to listen to the recording.
I tend to do this, Josh. I think about, like, I know my ideal clients' deepest fears and frustrations so well now because I've just listened to all the sales calls. I've taken notes. I read things online. I just know what their fears are, right? And I know the things that they do that are completely wrong. And I think about, okay, how can I tie that back to an everyday example? That's how I do it. Some people do it the other way, where they're like, oh my gosh, I ate way too much whipped cream this morning. Let me think about, like, what's that? For some people, it's the other way around. I work backwards. This is what I know my clients going through. This is what I know that they're doing that's seriously messing up their business, messing up their success. Let me think of an everyday example that they could relate to that's really going to illustrate that point.
Got it. I'm picking it up.
All right. Let it marinate. Okay. All right. Awesome. I'd love to know, like, what is in the chat, give me some, like, how's this landing? Like, what's your takeaway so far? Cheryl, oh my God. Cheryl, great. Certainly. Eloise, good. This is making things so clear. It doesn't have to be complicated. Yes, this is, I think, like, so many of us are in the extreme of, well, I don't have something big to say. I'm not going on vacations. I don't know. How many more times can I talk about my process, right? So I'm not going to really say anything at all on social media, as opposed to my everyday life is always content that I can tell stories with that my ideal client will absolutely relate to. Yep. I reverse engineer most things, like start with a problem. So I love these, right? Elizabeth, I think so too. Leah, keep it simple. Yes. Oh, Monica, we think complicated makes us sound smarter. That's a good one. Yeah. Whereas when we can just emotionally connect with someone, that makes us much better. All right. Eloise, you're up.
Hey.
Hi.
Okay. So cleaning, I'm really into cleaning at the moment. I also, going back to Josh's point, I think I've just had a light bulb moment that maybe I'm using cleaning as avoidance. And the biggest pain points that my clients have is that they basically is the fear of failure. It's too much to do. They haven't got enough time. It won't sell, those kind of things.
Yep. Yeah. So we avoid, right? We avoid for the fear of failure. We avoid, especially in your case, Eloise, because you help entrepreneurs publish their books, right? Like, no one's going to buy this. And I put in all this time and effort for nothing. And my business, I might as well just shut my business down if my book doesn't sell, right?
Yeah.
Like,
and a lot of them also get stuck in the writing, and they use the writing as the avoidance tactic to publish it, because then they're scared of putting it out there, because obviously publishing a book is very vulnerable for the author. So they stay in the writing, or and also with an author mindset, they don't necessarily see themselves as a marketeer. It's a very isolated thing to do. So when they've got to turn it on the head to actually promote the book and be the biggest fan, they just don't do it, which is
right. Well, that's why the creative space is the safe space, right? Because if they just type all day and work on their book, then no one has to see it and no one judges them. Yep. So I think you absolutely could similarly build that bridge of, I mean, all of our clients are avoiding things that they're supposed to be doing, right? That's sort of a universal thing that we help them with. So if you find that comparison, now, Eloise, you could decide, like, I don't want to necessarily show myself as someone who avoids. I don't want to go in that direction, but you could talk about like cleaning and how you spent the entire weekend cleaning and you weren't able to get to this thing in your personal life. Like you weren't able to do something. Like you don't have to make it business related, your cleaning story.
Yeah.
Right. And then like, I'm trying to think, like, what would you clean to avoid doing in your personal life, Eloise?
Anything.
Like what?
I mean, well, it's normally work. I wouldn't do cleaning to avoid personal life necessarily. Doing the late night dog walk, I hate doing that, so I will clean.
Yeah. Okay. So we clean to avoid taxes. We clean to avoid doing, like, I hate taking the dog for the walk. So you know what? I'm going to go open up that cabinet with all the Tupperware that doesn't have the right lids and stuff. And I'm going to go clean that up. And then, oh, well, it's 9:30. So too late to take the dog out. Right. So tell that, because that's funny and very relatable. Like, Candace, I saw you perk up and laugh because we all have that cabinet that's a disaster. Yeah. And then you make the gap, you bridge the gap rather to your ideal clients who are just they are avoiding putting that book out there. They are doing everything right. Oh, like, chapter 5 didn't have enough words. Let me go back and tweak that. Or, you know what? I actually want to rearrange my chapter. So I'm going to go do that instead. Right. The more you describe in specificity what they're doing to avoid, the more they're going to be like, oh shit, she knows what I'm doing.
Love it. Love it.
Yes. So that's like that. I think the more that you all can be specific, the more you all can be really, I don't want to say vulnerable, but the more you can be emotional about it in that way, the more people are going to be like, that is good. Yes, you are talking to me. Yes, you get exactly what I'm going through.
Fab.
Right.
Yeah.
And see, Eloise, how much better that would be instead of a post of like, here are 5 tips to publishing your book faster.
Yeah, which is what I've been trying to do all day. All day I've been trying to create content. And just spending this time with you, all that's out the window. I've actually got some content now.
Yes, you have content now. Love it. Yeah. Now that's not to say, right, I like a balance. Certainly, Eloise, you should put some how-tos out there. That doesn't mean that you should go to the extreme of like, well, now I'm only going to tell stories and I'm only going to tell like relatable things. It's a balance.
Yeah.
Right. Love it.
Thank you.
You are so welcome. All right. Anka, you are up.
Hello. Okay. So, well, I said I'm watching these German love story films, which is, I mean, I'm German originally, and sometimes I just find it relaxing to watch something in my language. It's brainless. It doesn't do anything. It's just good.
Okay. Okay. It's thinking, say that one more time. It's brainless. It's what? I'm writing this down.
It's just good. There's no
good.
purpose. It doesn't do anything, but it's just good.
Okay. And tell me your ideal clients. I know we worked individually on this, but for the group, what are your ideal clients' biggest fears and frustrations right now?
Well, I work with high achievers on anxiety. So a lot of people fear being judged, when they suddenly have panic attacks or can't cope with their life anymore. Mm-hmm. Stuff like that. They're afraid of what would other people think. They're afraid that they just can't do it. They're different things.
I have an idea, and I'm just taking notes on this. This could be one way that you take it. The phrase that you said is brainless. It's just good. There's no purpose to it. I wonder if your ideal client, and I'm speaking as someone who I would describe myself as high strung, right? I would describe myself as a little like anxious prone, right? I sometimes didn't know a couple of years ago, like how to relax or how to let go or how to have something that was just an escape, right? So my mind was always spinning and I was like, no, I can't do that because I've got to worry about all these other things, right? Or I have to be busy or I have to do this or that. I did not know, yes, as Susan said, I didn't know how to just sit and be.
Yeah.
Because, right? And I think this is where you want to show your ideal client that you know exactly why that's a problem for them. Just this concept of sitting and being, right? Because you're too worried about tweaking that thing that project that you have to complete for work, right? Or you're too worried about, what's going to happen 3 weeks from now if you email that person back and wonder what they're going to say. Do you know what I mean? Like all the crazy stuff that just people make up in their mind, it because you work with them.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's so important for them to learn or to have something that is brainless, just good, and no purpose. Right.
Yeah.
And not judge themselves for that.
Yeah. I got my post now.
Yay!
Thank you.
But I love that line. It's brainless. It's just good. It has no purpose. And that is what is missing for so many people who struggle with anxiety. Yes.
Yeah.
Susan put in the chat, a lot of that energy is to prove that they are smart and worthy. So I can't have things like, I can't watch German love movies, right? Like, what's the point of that? How is that going to help me do better at this thing? Or, like I used to, when I was a teacher, I would come home. I don't know if all of you will know this show, but I would come home and I would watch an episode of like SpongeBob SquarePants. I would go on Nickelodeon and I would just put on an episode of SpongeBob SquarePants because I had heard my name like 500 times that day. And I remember like that was a thing I looked forward to. I enjoyed. I was like, I don't have to think. I don't have to be anybody to anyone. That's what I think you want to strike in your post.
Yeah. Thank you. This is really helpful. Thank you.
Good. Okay. What about, let me see if I can do one or two more people. Well, yeah, I do that with Golden Girls. Yeah, that. What about one or two more people? Elizabeth, Christine, Paula, Andrea, Candace, Monica, Leah, what do you think?
I was just thinking, I do that little bit of escapism. I do that often with Golden Girls. It just gets you, and my kids think it's ridiculous that I watch this show about these women. But when you need to get that escape to just take a break from everything that makes you and all the things that you do, that's like a good go-to. Because sometimes you kind of need a little bit, nobody's asking anything of you type of thing.
Yes.
For me, the relatable part, I actually usually do quite well. It's taken me 15 years to hone in those skills, but relating to my customers and previously my other occupation patients on different levels, I do quite well at. The thing that I struggle with that I use those other things to escape is when I am the bearer of bad news. That I don't have any problem connecting. It's when I have to share something that I know someone doesn't want to hear, I will avoid that like the plague.
Yes. Yeah. So you could find like I did with Josh and Eloise, like what's a situation where I've avoided, right?
Yeah. Because, I do tend to want to make all the people happy all the time. And that's just an impossible goal to achieve. And sometimes you have to tell somebody that they don't want to hear what it is that you're telling them. That is just one thing. And I'll still get it done, but it will definitely be, if I have 5 things to do, it'll be number 5 every single time.
Yes.
Yep. So work in progress.
We all are for sure. Okay. Thank you for sharing, Leah. Okay. Andrea, you said you'll go next. Andrea, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Yes. Good day. Good afternoon.
Hi.
Okay. So, like I said, this has been very, very eye-opening for me. Not that I probably didn't have a hint or a, thought of what's going on, but I think when you opened up with, us not the reasons why we don't go ahead and share more often, that definitely is probably one of the things to me, because I'll think about what I want to share, but then I'm not sure how to put it because of the vulnerability and the fears, of course. And then I'll, when I have the time now, I say, something, I've been so stressed with this and that, let me just take some time, watch some, tug of words or whatever, just to clear my mind. And then I clear my mind and it's too late and you put it up. But it really is just a delay or stall tactic. So I guess if I'm able to just, be a little bit more free and open with, this methodology, then hopefully I'll be able to.
You will. You absolutely will. I mean, I can tell you just like that's why I brought all of you here is because I think what I've noticed is the more silly my posts, the more relatable and everyday they are, the more converting they are. And I know for a lot of you, it's like, well, I'm either going to be in the extreme of only sharing businessy stuff to come across as professional, or I'm not going to post anything at all. Right.
Yep. That's true. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. One of my most viewed posts was me sitting at the bus stop. Yes. Because everyone been at a point where they're on a trip or they're sitting on a bus or, they're on the back deck, like looking out and they're reflecting. Everyone has gone through that. Yep. Okay. Andrea, are you all set?
I am.
Okay. All right. I just didn't want to cut you off if you still were going. All right. Candace, you are up.
All right. So I think I've sort of worked through the first of my 2 points, one of which was, sort of they don't know what to do next. And I can easily sort of tie that back to the organization bit, right? Because that's needing a framework, needing a system, needing sort of structure, right? So that feels a little easier for me to do. The one that I'm not quite sure how to come up with something is on, they're not going to think that I'm expert enough, right, to be the person they hire, and having that sort of imposter syndrome feeling. And I think that a lot of my clients have that, my one-on-one clients. So I'm not sure what I would talk about for that one.
I have an idea for you. Okay. So the challenge is that feeling of I'm not expert enough. So that means I can't charge enough. That means that people will have doubts about working with me. Right. I worry that they will probably ask for a cancellation or a refund, right? Because I'm not expert enough. Right. Correct. So I feel like, especially because you have daughters, Candace, like there's so much that you can tell with them. So for example, like your daughter, like just did this amazing thing with all the Girl Scout cookies, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. Did you have observations or did you make observations about your daughter as she was going through? Is she like a leader? Is she like, I don't know what the ranking is in like Girl Scouts.
No, she's just a Girl Scout in, the grade level that she's in, but she's not in any sort of leadership position or anything like that.
Okay. But she was charged with selling these cookies, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Did she at any point question whether she could do it if she was expert enough?
Of course. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So I feel like there's a way for you to bring that in, right? To talk about, you could use your daughter as an example, right? Okay. And how adults are more likely in some ways to second guess themselves and question their expertise and question whether they have the ability to do it or whether they can do it. And yep. How old is your daughter?
She's 12.
She's 12. Okay. So there's so much that we can learn. Like that could be a headline, like,
or really my 5-year-old actually is also sold Girl Scout cookies. She would literally stand at the table and like scream at people across the parking lot, like, "Hey, you want cookies?" And like if they wouldn't answer her, she just kept yelling at them until they had to acknowledge her. Like so from a sales perspective, I guess that could be a tie-in too, right? That she just had all the confidence in the world because she didn't know that she could be told no, right?
Yeah, what a 5-year-old selling Girl Scout cookies can teach you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like kid story. Christine's right. Like kid stories really land. One, because in a way, like we were all that age and we remember like the pure confidence that we had. Like we didn't second guess our ability to do things. Mm-hmm. Right. And here's your 5-year-old, right? Tasked with selling a concept she probably doesn't fully understand. It's just like, I need to make money with these cookies. Didn't sit there and marinate like, am I qualified enough to do this? Yeah. Right. How much time will I need to learn this? Right. What if like, she's not thinking like, oh, someone's going to say no and think that my cookies are crappy cookies.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Eloise. Yeah. Kids, start observing your children. Right.
Yeah. No, that's great. That's a great tie-in. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think kids are very easy because you're around them all the time, Candace. And like kids obviously teach us so many lessons and, things that we lose when we become adults. Paula, what is rose petal perfume?
I'm saying it's what you used to do as a kid. You used to get some water and some rose petals and then sell it over the garden fence to people.
Oh, okay. Or it's like lemonade stands, right? Like kids would just sell.
I don't know, maybe Eloise would. No, she probably.
Yeah, Eloise. I don't know
whether it was something you did in the US, but
yes,
oh God,
no, I did that as well, Paula.
Yeah, I was about to say maybe it's an English thing.
It must be a UK thing.
Yeah. Totally.
Love it. Like we had lemonade stands in the States, right? I remember having a lemonade stand with my friends or like Girl Scout cookies or stuff like that. But yeah, okay. So let me tie this up with a bow in terms of like, okay, so what do you do with this content, right? You could certainly put this into a text-based post, right? Like you could write this out, you could open with the story of your personal life and then tie it into your business or what your ideal clients are going through. You could turn this into like, you could just like, Josh, I know you're committed to going live on Facebook. This could be your Facebook Live this week, right? So it doesn't have to be text-based, right? It could be a blog that you put together. You could put it as a blog and then repurpose it as a social media post and turn it into an email, right? There's versatility here in terms of how you actually put it together. Are like minds blown from this? Are we like, oh my gosh, I've been totally overthinking content. I've been totally overthinking how I can use my everyday life and how easy, like Eloise, you said, oh my gosh, this was easy. How many of you feel like now I can imagine content creation being like a little bit more enjoyable and easy? Good, good, good. Okay. Now, have all of you loved this training? Have you enjoyed this thoroughly? Awesome. Because I want to take a moment and I want to extend an exclusive invitation to all of you. Some of you already know about this, but if you loved this, you are going to absolutely love what I'm going to do for 3 days virtually in June. It's my event called Content Con, where I'm going to show you how to turn content into income, right? Turn your ideas into content and content into income. And Susan, if you could put the link in the chat, I'm extending a special deal to all of you because I know all of you, I've worked with you individually. You have incredible programs. You have incredible offers. Your core problem is not enough people know about you. Would you all agree with that? Not enough people know that you exist. And more importantly, not enough people know that you are incredibly engaging, incredibly interesting. And I'm going to show you over these 3 days how to take your offer and create content just like this. So you have like 6 months of content, 12 months of content. I'm going to show you how content creation can be so easy and so enjoyable to create. Eloise, you absolutely nailed it on like the point on its head. Like this should be easy and this should be fun. Because right now, I would guess for all of you, content is a chore that you hate. Am I right? Content is a chore that you want to avoid at all costs. Content is the thing that you're worried about. Like, yes, Josh gives me the thumbs up. Like, I would rather do anything except create content, right? And I know part of why we are here, part of why we are connected is because you wanted to scale your business by making a program. And I know that if you're not in front of enough people, that program is going to constantly feel like a chore to fill. Am I preaching to the choir with that one? There's constantly going to be this tug of like, where am I going to find people? Enough people don't know about me. Eloise, it's virtual. It's not in person. I wish you could come into the US, but you could stay where you are. And that's the benefit, right? So I'm extending a ticket to you for just $47. And for that $47, I'm going to teach you my whole system. Just like Cheryl said, like, how did you do that? I'm going to break down how I did that. We're going to create content just like we did together on this call during the event, right? So you're going to walk away with not just one piece of content created, but multiple pieces of content created, a system for the next 6 months and 12 months of what to create. And beyond that, I'm complimentary upgrading you to VIP, where you're going to get more time with me and you're going to get additional training by some guest speakers that I'm going to bring in. So if you loved this, if you loved how intimate this felt, if you loved all the feedback that you got, that's exactly what's going to happen at this event. So I would love, yes, Paula, I would love for you you need to be there because you need to be posting on LinkedIn. I know it. I know that's one of your things. But I know that visibility is a high priority for you this year. I'm going to show you how to become way more visible with your content and have content creation actually be fun. So I know Josh is coming. I know that Monica's coming. Eloise, I know that you need this. I know that you're in. So if you want to come and join me for those 3 days, tell me in the chat. Christine, been waiting for this from you. Yes. And I hope that I'm modeling, right? Like I'm sharing this with all of you in this intimate way because I'm modeling for you what's possible when you start becoming more visible. You could do bigger things. You could stretch yourself, right? So I would love all of you to be there. So Candace, are you in? Elizabeth, I hope that you're in. Anka, are you in? Is that a yes? Awesome. So the link, Susan, can you put the link one more time in the chat? Cheryl, I know you're in. So if you go to that link, here's the thing. Don't sit on this because this expires tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern. So for the $47, right, you get all the time with me, you get all the content plus additional time with me and additional access to some speakers. And for $47, you walk away with that system for all of your content for like 6 months to a year. I hope that you all plan on being there because this is going to serve all of you in such amazing ways. And beyond that, right? 1 second. Ooh, hold on. Susan, that's on me. I gave you the wrong link. 1 second.
See, look at that. You made a mistake and the world didn't end.
It didn't. Oh my gosh. Can I tell you the funniest story?
That could now be a post.
It can. Can I tell you a funny story about this? So, okay, so I just put the proper link in the chat. So if you go there and if you go on that, it should be 40 cents. You don't have to enter any code. There's nothing on my end. I know if you go with that link that you will have access to the event. When we were putting this page together, the font was the biggest problem because originally the font was this really scripty one. And my VA was helping me with this. And I was so proud of it when it was done because, oh my God, if any of you have written a registration page or a sales page, you know the absolute pain that is. So like, oh my God, I've like birthed this creative like beauty. I bring it up to my boyfriend and he looks at it because I'm so proud of myself. I'm like, look what I just did. And he goes, does that say content cow? I was like, what do you mean? Like, no, it doesn't say content cow. Like, why is that the first thing you noticed? Like, why was that the thing that you saw? And he was like, well, yeah, it looks like a W. And he's going on and on about it. And I was like, oh my God, if he sees content cow, everybody else is going to see content cow. So that's my funny story. So we had to find another scripty thing that was close enough with our branding that didn't look like, it didn't look like cow. Yeah. Okay. Anka, I hope to see you there. I hope that you grabbed a ticket. Thank you so much for showing up and tag me in that post when you put it together. Okay. All right. So if you all have any remaining questions, I'm going to stay on for the next few minutes. If you have questions about the event, questions about your content, or just any insights that you want to share with me, I'm going to sit tight for a few minutes.
Sorry, could you say that again?
Oops, Siri.
You said sit tight, so she thought you were saying Siri, I guess.
I guess so. Eloise, is it better to post on a profile or do business pages still work? I find, Eloise, that profiles work better. Profiles work way better just because business pages, I think, are requiring that you pay more for visibility. Whereas if you have, now that means, Eloise, that on your personal page, you want to have ideal clients as friends as well, right? Yeah. Good question.
Most of my profile are my ideal clients. So that works.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Thank you.
Good. Yep. You can also cross post, but yeah, that's a good question. I would post on your personal profile. Good. Go ahead, Cheryl.
No, I was just going to say that the number one post, which I'm actually going back and connecting with all these people, was a post that I had gotten some new headshots and I put up a new picture and I got like 450.
I remember that.
Likes and comments and all kinds of stuff. And I was like, like for putting up my picture, I go, boy, I should change that like every 6 weeks. Anyway. I was just joking.
No, I love that. See, there's content with that too.
There is content with that. I'm thinking, this is me thinking, do you look this way to think? Yes. Wait, no, I don't know. There's some kind of NLP thing.
There is. 1 second, Paula, there is. If you go, it should be on the bottom, like bottom checkout. Right. It says checkout. Hold, I'll share my screen and show you.
Oh, right. So that's an actual button there then.
It is. Yeah. Just click on that. It'll take you through.
Oh, yeah. It didn't look like a button. It just looked like a kind of like a little logo or something.
Yeah, you just click on that and you're good to go.
Glasses. My eyes are getting worse. Okay, yeah, I'm through to the next bit. Your order is not complete until you click here.
Yep, there you go. Click there. But Cheryl, like your post could be, I mean, another example, like the fear of updating a picture, right? A profile picture, because you're worried about the way you look. You're worried about this and that, right? It's the same thing in sales. You're worried what people are going to think or say to you. There you go.
There you go.
We're going to do all of this during the event. You're going to walk away with like so many ideas for content.
Oh, okay. This is great. I love it. I'm writing this down really quick. Okay.
Bye, Josh. Good to see you. Go do that live and tag me. Okay.
I will do. For LinkedIn though, is it because it's personable? Is that, I don't know, you said something at the beginning, like you can post it on LinkedIn, but you have to,
I would just say
edit it.
I've just taken my posts from Facebook, Josh, because that's where I post the most. I'm very active on Facebook. I've literally taken the same exact post, copied and pasted it over to LinkedIn, and I've noticed nothing horrible has happened. I still get engagement. The reason is, I think the most important thing is that you're connecting it back to like why someone reading it will care.
Because I thought about going live on Facebook and LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So it's one of those, you can do the same content, or is LinkedIn still business, business, business only?
Now, Candace Benson, you are my LinkedIn, like you are on LinkedIn all the time. What I've noticed, some of the people I love following, not just business, business, business. Now, obviously they're sharing like they have articles and they show their expertise, but I think a lot of what makes them so fun to follow is like they tell stories, they show pictures, and all of it is certainly in the container of business and how to grow your business, right? Bye, Cheryl.
Right, like not the same. We would get personal on Facebook maybe by just posting, like, hey, I went out to eat here, or I did this, right? Like, as long as you're tying it back though to a business story and you're, giving some sort of value there, then I haven't seen too many people getting upset about that.
Yeah, it's more like when it's like, oh, I went out to lunch and here's a picture of my like.
Yeah, don't put that on LinkedIn.
Maybe as an Instagram story, right? But not as a post on LinkedIn. So Josh, and that's the fun part, right? You can see right away how you could do a live on Facebook and LinkedIn. If you write a post like Eloise, if you put a post together, a written post, you could put it on Facebook and also put it on LinkedIn. So you're killing two birds with one stone. You're not having to just create. And I think that's such a good question, Josh. You don't have to create just content for LinkedIn, and this is just content for Facebook, and this is just content for, Instagram.
Cool. Thanks.
You're so welcome. All right. Any other questions or insights? Or Eloise, I wish it was also morning for you.
I'm going to be up all night now creating content.
Oh, you know what is a good tip just to speak to that, right? If you don't want to sit down and write it, we all have the voice app in our phone. Talk it out, like voice record it, Eloise. So you could just be like, I don't know, sitting on the couch tonight. You don't want to open up the computer, but you could speak into the voice note, and then tomorrow you can just listen back to it.
Yeah. Brilliant. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Well, I want to thank all of you for carving out time. I know you're incredibly busy. I'm so glad that you came to this. I'm so glad that you had these insights, because all of you are very brilliant and more people need to know about you.
Thank you, Jessica. This was great.
You are so welcome. All right. I will see all of you later. I'll see you at the event.
Yes.
I'll see you at the event.
Definitely, if not.
All right.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye.